So
Hi.
I go to a Christian law school. I'm in a lot of Christian circles. And one of the most common things I find in these circles is the idea of third wayism. And I'm just curious, what is the best response to that?
Yeah, no, we talked about that with Megan Basham yesterday, actually, just about how pervasive third wayism is. And it's basically, for those in the audience that need a little brush up on it, it's saying we're Christians. We don't want to be left. We don't want to be right. We don't want to be divisive. We're gonna just preach the gospel. And it's a new way of saying an old thing. Right, because we saw that was essentially what Turning Point or TPUSA Faith was launched to combat. Right, because when we saw this in COVID, there was no third way in COVID. So this is what happens when tyrannical governments get their way, and they say you're not allowed to meet anymore because we have a pandemic, and you're going to spread the pandemic in your church gatherings. If you do not become political in your theology, politics will become theological. It will invade your religious space.
And I want to use the Barry Goldwater quote. This is the perfect opportunity to use the Barry Goldwater quote for this. Extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. So,
say it again, slow.
So extremism in defense of liberty is no vice.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry Goldwater was famous for saying this. And extremism is the villainization of the defense of all that is good by the left. So this happens quite frequently in society where they will actually villainize all Christians, right? We hear this term Christian nationalism now. They will almost always call you an extremist anytime that you stand up for God, anytime that you stand up for Jesus, anytime that you vocalize your religious beliefs. That's why we always talk about politics being downstream from culture, and your culture is your religious beliefs. Mm-hmm. You cannot live in a society where you say, I'm not going to be left or right. I'm going to just be focused on my faith, because again, your politics come from whatever your faith is. Mm-hmm. And your defense of those beliefs is going to always be called extremism. That's why the embracing, again, this Barry Goldwater quote, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice, is that we have to stand for what's right, no matter what. There is no fence sitting. Yeah. And you're always going to be called left. You're always going to be called left or right by the opposition, depending upon where you're. And for us, we're always going to be called super right wing, super extremist for holding those very basic biblical beliefs.
Well, and that's what I would say as well, is that you have to pick a side. I'm telling you, the politics will become theological.